to that end, here comes the big announcement. Why not bury it halfway through the video so that nobody sees it and nobody submits anything? And then I go like, hey, why wasn't that successful? It's like, well, maybe you should put it up front and not bury the big announcement in the middle of the video. But hey there, welcome to Camp Peculiar. My name is Aaron. This is a channel dedicated to visual and sequential storytelling using AI art. It's a bit unusual for me to be talking to the camera, but I have a very good reason for doing that. And that is because I want to actually talk to you watching this right now. I believe that you have a story to tell. Like, I really do. I believe that inside of your head, you're working it out. You've been thinking about it for a while. There's these characters, there's these locations, there's these rules and these worlds and this plot and this struggle and this hope and this all this stuff that you have inside, and you want to get that out. And like me, you like visual storytelling. You like the graphic novel. You like the comic book as a method of storytelling. We love that storytelling medium, right? Like I do. It is my preferred storytelling format when nobody's offering me a gigantic feature film sci-fi thing to direct and just live on the set of, and that's not happening right now. So graphic novels, comic books are my preferred storytelling method, and you're probably similar. Visual storytelling seems to fill this really nice Goldilocks, middle-of-the-road kind of place between reading a book, which requires the reader to do all of the imaginative heavy lifting themselves, and watching a movie, which tends to do most of that stuff for you. I don't have anything to sell you, and I don't have anything to offer you other than the thoughts and experiences that I've had as a visual storyteller. I just know that if you tell that story that you have in your head, it will change your life for good. Regardless of its commercial success, regardless of its public success, when you have something to say and you say it in the way that you want, it changes your life. And that's what I want for you. It's what I want for me, and it's what I want for you. More on that in just a second. You really should be asking, like, why is that my only goal? How can you be sure that that's my goal? What is it about Aaron, head counselor at Camp Peculiar, a not real camp that's also kind of real? What is it about me that makes that my goal? And so it's a funny story, and actually involves comics. My first comic project, the first comic project I worked on, super teeny tiny, not even worth mentioning except for the fact that I'm going to mention it. I was in character animation school at the time. I went to the first class, the inaugural class of something called Animation Mentor, which was started by some Pixar animators and Industrial Light and Magic animators. So they started this school. I was in the very first class, and as I was waiting for that school to start and get up and running and become a character animator, which is where I was headed, I started doing what I do. I tell little stories through comic strips. And this was about 17 years ago. So the founders of this school saw my comic strip, and again, these are like Pixar and ILM storytellers, not like, they are. And they go like, oh, we like your comic strip. Can you do it every week so that we can put it in the newsletter? And I was like, I'd be happy to. I love what you guys are doing. I love the school. I'm glad to be here. And I write comics all the time anyways, so this is perfect. And it was unpaid. I got to come up with what the strips were all the time. All I had to do was send them in. And here's the thing that I thought was funny. Here's the thing that I thought was interesting. Here's the thing that sort of changed my life. Or here's the real education that I got before the education. This was a small, self-started 1 to 3 panel weekly comic strip that I was doing for no money in my free time while studying character animation for a newsletter. It wasn't like for a thing. It was just for this newsletter at the school that had just started. You've heard this thing like a work ethic, right? It means like you show up early, you work a good long day, maybe stay a little bit late, you ask where you can be helpful, and you just, you don't cut corners. That's a work ethic. This was the first time in my life that I had experienced a story ethic. They took storytelling so serious. It was just part of who they were. They loved it so much. I'm sure they had a strong work ethic, but they also had a strong story ethic. They couldn't leave it alone. And so when I would submit my weekly comic strip to go into the newsletter, even though it was volunteer, even though it was unpaid, even though they were my ideas, even though I didn't get direction from anyone, they would still give me notes. They would be like, hey, can you change this? We don't think this reads as clear. It would be better if you did this. What do you think about this? It's just this little free rinky-dinky comic strip. And these people, they loved story. They loved story so much. They loved it. They just plussed everything. Every part of their lives they tried to plus because that's who they became. As storytellers, they became people that looked for clarity, engagement, experience, relatability, all these things that go into creating a successful animated sequence. They just couldn't put it down. And so I thought it was funny that I got notes on my comic strips about things that maybe I should change, and then I believe that I got one that was actually rejected, where they said, we're not going to put this one in the newsletter. Is there any way you can just do another one? And it was all nice and it was all fun, but it was honestly, it was all just in this theme of like, we all just want to tell the best story that we can. And that was my first experience with a group of creatives that just loved storytelling so much. They looked for it everywhere, and they tried to bring it out everywhere, and they tried to clarify it everywhere that so other people could engage with that story. So I graduated from that program and went on to do lots of other creative things that are related to character animation, but not directly that itself. But I kept creating comics. I remembered making that comic strip, and I still do today. And I remembered that story ethic, that passion and that drive to find and tell stories in a way that changed people's lives. And that's something that never left me. And it's something that's everywhere. And like I said at the beginning of this, it's in you. Like, you have a story. And that's why I do the channel. I think AI imagery is a great leveraging tool to move you along your storytelling path. But you know, it's technology. It'll get better and it'll become commonplace, or it won't, or we'll move on to something else. It's just a really exciting tool that can help leverage and move your storytelling along quicker. But that story you have in you, it's harder to tell than you think. And I would love to encourage you to just like make a comic book right now. Like I would literally do, like, just stop listening to me. If you want to do it and you have the passion, you have the drive, go for it. It is hard, and it takes practice. It takes practice learning what reads and what doesn't. And to that end, here comes the big announcement. Why not bury it halfway through the video so that nobody sees it? You know, whatever. I wanted to talk about that other stuff. Anyways, here's the big announcement. We hit 1,000 campers, 1,000 subscribers. I would prefer if we call them campers, but I'm also, you know, mid-40s, so that seems a little weird. But we hit 1,000 campers a few days ago. I planned on, at 1,000 campers, doing the first ever AI comic jam. Now, I'd like to believe it's the first ever in the world AI comic jam, but maybe others have been done. It's definitely the first one on this channel, and here's what it's called. It's called Peculiar Panels. And this AI comic jam is an opportunity for you to practice storytelling. And it's going to start off real simple, really easy. This first one's really easy, super easy to engage with. Everyone watching this can do this. You absolutely can. And it's not something I'm planning on doing. It's something that's happening right now. So just let me show you what that looks like real quick. So all you have to do is head over to camppeculiar.com. That'll land you right here at this webpage, where you're going to click this Learn More button. If this Learn More button has disappeared by the time you view this, it'll always be available somewhere on this particular page or in this little hamburger menu thing here in the upper right. When you click on that Learn More button, you can see how much time that we have left in Peculiar Panels number 1, 14 days, 13 hours. That's plenty of time. A little bit of information on what's going on. And then we have our Format A and our Format B. Keep in mind, these are not the Format A and Format B comic templates for this round. These are just examples that I created because I worried you would start reading them while I was recording the video and coming up with ideas, or that I would do some kind of example with them, and then that would influence the way you were thinking about your story. They say Demo A on them and Demo B on them, and they're hard to download. What you want to do is get everything you need to participate. See, that's funny, you guys. Come on. Comic A is right here as a PSD, which is going to look something like this, but not this. And Comic B, the match style and complete PSD, is available right there. And it's going to look something like this, but not that. And then you can submit your entry right there, and there's a whole bunch of FAQs. If for some reason you can't use the PSD and you still want to participate, I have the PNGs available for you as well. So let's take a look at, once you download these PSDs, what they're going to look like in Photoshop. So this is Demo A. You can see there's a spot over here for you to put in your creator name. You can just create a text box there and put in your handle, your name, whatever you want to be referred to as. Totally up to you. And then you have these 3 empty panels. All you're required to do is generate the artwork for this in Midjourney or whatever. You can bash it, combine it, overpaint it, inpaint it, outpaint it, whatever you want to do. This isn't an AI art challenge or to see your technical prompt wizardry. This is a storytelling practice and a storytelling jam using AI art. So however you want to use that, that's up to you. So all you need to do is generate the AI art style and characters, settings, whatever you want to do to tell a story using these 3 panels and the speech that I've already written, the dialogue that I've already written. You cannot change the dialogue, don't change the wording or anything like that, but you can change the order of the sentences. If for some reason you want yours to read completely different and yours says, seems self-explanatory to me, care to explain yourself? Sorry, I'm late. Then that's fine. I don't care if you change the order of the dialogue, but don't obscure, cover, get rid of, shrink the words. Don't make any changes to the dialogue other than where they locationally appear and what a panel they appear on. So that's Format A. You generate the artwork, tell a story that's clear with that generated artwork in a style of your choosing. Let's look at B. This one is the match style and complete the story. So you have an empty panel here and an empty panel here. You can just slide your AI artwork underneath there that matches this style. Again, this is just a demo. This style was a cartoon character mascot pen and ink. And don't change anything about the middle panel other than the background. You can change the background to match your story or your setting or your location or anything like that. So when you're done and you've put your creator name here, all you do is export this as a JPEG or a PNG or an image file. And then you head back over to Camp Peculiar. You can see right here, there's this big submit your entry button. So you click on that. And I just want to know what you want me to refer to you as if I feature your comic in a video. I want to know if that's okay with you that I feature that in a video. And then there's those 2 spots for you to upload your artwork there. And you can also put in something you'd like me to plug if I feature your artwork in a video and you want to plug a comic you're working on, a book, a YouTube channel, an Instagram, whatever you want to do. I'd be happy to plug that for you if it falls safely within a PG or PG-13 sort of range there. Send them to me. I will read them and enjoy them. And then I would love to recap them on a Camp Peculiar video here in about 2.5 weeks. So I just wanted to take a minute to acknowledge the milestone of 1,000 campers, 1,000 comic creators, 1,000 storytellers, which is what I am obviously most excited about. Thank you for watching and listening to what I have to say about storytelling. For anybody that's left a comment, especially people that have left multiple encouraging comments, thank you. Like, you know, you always wonder like, hey, what am I going to get? And there's been some negative stuff in there, but I totally understand it. Like, bring on the negativity. You don't want to say that on a YouTube video, but I get it. We're creating in interesting times, and this is all a little bit like, should we do this? Is this a good idea? Is not a good idea? I struggle and think through all the same things. At the core, should we be telling stories? Yeah, all day long we should be telling stories, helping people understand who they are, the world they live in, the experiences they've had through love, loss, hurt, and hope. That's an important thing to do, and you have the power to do it, and you have the ability to do it, and so I would encourage you to do that, and I would encourage you to be a part of this community by participating in Peculiar Panels #1. Go to camppeculiar.com, click on the buttons, super easy to get started. I cannot wait to see the story that you tell with the stuff that I made. It's going to get more general. There's going to be like an open category coming soon, but right now I wanted to start slow. And don't forget, if you found anything in this video helpful, inspiring, encouraging, or at least historically accurate to my own life, which I can tell you that it is, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, you know, tap on that part of your screen or whatever. And I will see you right back here at Camp Peculiar for another video real soon.